Hello friends, welcome to week 17 of distance learning, or of school I should say. This week we are doing something kind of fun. So I know we've been learning about the antebellum period, so the time period prior to the Civil War, and we've been learning about the differences and similarities between the North and the South during this time, but specifically how they become very divided. And we did notes on the North and the South already, and that's where these notes are going to come into play. So you're going to use those notes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week to create a visual of some of those details. Okay, so we are going to do a compare and contrast poster of the North and the South. Now, if we were at school, I would give you big paper so you could do it all on one piece of paper. But at home, you might only have like printer size paper, which is totally fine. You're just going to need two. Okay, if you use colored pencil, you could probably use one and just use both sides. But if you use marker, it will go through and you will see it on the other side. So you're going to want two pieces of just plain paper and something to color or draw with, okay? So for our posters, there is a rubric in here, and I apologize for it being so small. I don't have it in a digital version. If we were in class, I would have printed it for you. So you just have to zoom in, and I know it looks like impossible, but if you zoom in and drag it around, you'll be able to see. So this is how we're being graded on our posters, okay? It's kind of hard to look at. I think if we pop it out in a bigger window, it might be easier. There we go. So graphics and relevance. So making sure your pictures are relevant to our topic. Okay, and this is the breakdown, 4, 5, 3, or 0 to 2. Okay. Effort and attractiveness. So like, can I tell that you took a lot of time on your pictures and you put the most effort into it? I'm not going to grade you based on like your ability to draw, but if I can tell that you really gave a solid effort, that is sufficient. Required elements, you must have 10 differences, 5 on each side, okay? So 5 for the North and 5 for the South. So 5 different images that kind of portray what was happening in the North and what was happening in the South, okay? And then along with those 10 differences, so 5 for the North, 5 for the South, you're going to kind of explain them in little captions below each image, because sometimes it's hard for me to tell exactly what you meant by whatever you drew, okay? So you'll kind of just put the facts or the explanations right under those images. So in Schoology, I have a couple of examples. Now keep in mind, I don't want you to copy them, okay? But I have some examples to help get you started of some cool ones that have been done in the past, okay? So for example, railroads were really big in the North, okay, during this time. Cotton was a big thing in the South during this time. So you can see she like broke down some of those details into like actually writing out North and South. And a lot of times you want to start with splitting your paper somehow, because normally I would give you big paper, but because most of us are going to be using just 2 pieces of paper, you could tape them together if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. If you'd rather just have one page be the North and one page be the South, that's fine too. Okay, so these are just some cool ideas of things that I have seen from kids in the past. Notice like this one is missing the captions, so even though it's awesome artwork, they lost points because they didn't have the captions kind of explaining what they were representing. And this one has great captions that explain. Your captions don't have to be super long by any means, but they should just kind of explain to me what your pictures are showing, okay? Same here. So this is a super fun project. I'm excited to do it. Even though we're doing it virtually, I think it will still be cool. So start with 2 pieces of paper. Pull out your North and South notes, because like I said, that's going to be the biggest help in figuring out, okay, so what are some details for what was happening in the North and what are some details from the South? If you did those digitally, those are in Schoology still, and they should be in your Google Drive, so you can utilize those for your posters. So we're going to work on that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On Thursday, we will be doing a test review on the North and South, so looking specifically at some of those differences. And then we will do our North and South test on Friday, and then next week we will move on to learning about the Civil War specifically, which is really fun. I'm really excited. So have a great week, and I'll see you at our Google Meet.